Let's go. Yeah. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Ah, let's go! Woo-hoo-hoo. Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Ah, let's go! Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's go! Ah, let's go! Hello, it's another Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Power Series. I'm your host, Samala Dranyi, taking you on a power ride this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you find yourself. In today's episode, I am a lone ranger, but hey, that doesn't change the fun. We're still going to have lots and lots and lots of fun. Now, when we come back, I will be showing you how to create an Office 365 developer account, which enables you to create a lot of the Power stuff, um, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, anything on the Power platform. So stick with me, and when we're back, I'll show you how to do that. Yes, we are back. And in today's episode, as I mentioned before we went for that short break, as I played my montage signature tune, I had to do that. Is I'm going to show you how to create the Office 365 developer account. Now, this allows you access for 12 months to use the account to build Office applications like plugins for Excel, Word, Access, stuff for O365 Online, and also to use stuff on the Power Platform. And that's what people have been asking for. That how do we do that? It's just a 30-day trial. Now, last week episode with Frank, I mentioned that there's also a community plan that allows you to have unlimited environment for Power Apps. Now, what I'm going to show you today is how to create an Office 365 developer account that will allow you to use it for 12 months. Try anything on the Microsoft O365 and the Power Platform. So, well, no specific announcements today. So I think we're just gonna get right into it. Just a sec. I think I am missing. I am missing something. Yes, I missed my chart. How could I have missed the chart? Yes, I need to get the chat up so that I can be responding to messages that come in. So bear with me as I do that in a bit. Yep. So sorry for my inability to bring you Functions Friday. As most of you in Ghana would know, and some parts of Africa would know, that there was a submarine fiber cut on one of the ISPs, one of the big ISPs we all use. So that actually stored internet connectivity in the country. So I was unable to bring you that. But hopefully that has been resolved, and as you can see, we're streaming. Um, so let's just get right into it. So one of the requirements to create the O365 account is that you should have a Microsoft account. So whether it is Hotmail, Outlook, or Live, you should have one. Thankfully, I have one. It's quite easy to create if you don't have one. Let me actually just take you to. Now, I'm going to do this for the first time on the show because Microsoft Edge has been reborn, has been baptized, has now emerged, and therefore, first time on the show, I am going to be using Microsoft Edge. Isn't it beautiful and sleek? So we are at Edge right now. Um, let's do this. Boop, boop. All right, so like I mentioned, let me zoom in a bit so you guys can see a lot more of. Yep, that's so cool. All right, so you can create any of the accounts. Let's say Outlook. All right, so if I do outlook.com, it should resolve um, to Outlook, or if you do Hotmail, any of it would resolve. I think I'm already logged in, so it's going to try to log me in there, but I'll just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and sign out. Yep. So that we're just taking to the page where we can create account. Now, I already have an Outlook account, so I wouldn't go through the process of doing that, but I would show you how to do. I mean, I'm just going to show you the page where to go to create your Outlook account if you want to. I mean, it's a very quick one. You just create the account, and once you have the account, we can proceed to the second part. So, just want to show you that um, how that works. So, whilst that is loading, let's just say continue to manage this regular site. Okay. So let's do Outlook again. And there you go. So here you should see the screen this way, and then you can actually click on, you can try, create a free account. Click here, and that creates a free. It's going to walk you through the process of providing your first name, last name, those credentials you need, and then the account will be created for you. Now, once that account is created for you, you would now be able, okay, to create the developer account to try and test all the cool things that you want to do. All right, awesome. So with that in mind, let's just get right into it. Now, I wish I had I wish I had access to aka.ms. I don't have. So what I can do is actually let me do this right now. I'm going to use a bit.ly to shorten it, but let me show you the URL here. Let me open Notepad and paste the URL here. So this is the URL. Okay, so developer.microsoft.com. You can actually ignore the ENUS and then use office/dev program, but this is long. So let's do this. Let me try to create a short version with bit.ly. I have a bit.ly account here. So let me do that right away. I mean, so that it's shorter for you and memorable for you to remember that. So I'm going to paste this here. And this will be, we'll just say try O365. Yeah. So let's say Office 365 dev account. Okay. So let's save this and see. Oops, that name is already taking. So let's say try O. No, let's do this. Let's change it to dev. Okay, so let me bring this in because most of you are not seeing what I'm doing. Sorry about that. So I'm just using bit.ly to shorten, um, that very long. Yeah, link edited. So I'm going to now copy this. So for your sake, it would be bit.ly.dev O365. Is it? Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, it's a capital O. And bit.ly is case sensitive. So you might want to have that in mind. All right. Bit.ly is case sensitive. So have that in mind. So let's get rid of this. And now this is the new URL we are going to use. So let's copy this in any browser. Your favorite could be Edge. And this should redirect us to the Join the Office 365 Developer Program today. Let me increase this. Okay. Now, this gives you, if you go to the developer page, you can see it gives you a 365. It's actually an E5 developer subscription. So for those of you who don't know what the E5 developer subscription is, um, let's just do this. Okay, let's say O365 E. Let's do this subscription plans. I just want to open. Okay, I just want to open that up so we compare. You can see the value of what you are getting, for that. So now look at this. No, let's just stay here. So if you look, let me give you this full screen because it's blocked out there. Good. So we are interested in this one in E5. Okay, E5 is what you are getting, which is actually a $35 a month subscription that you are giving. All right, that gives you access to Office, Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, Publisher, Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, Yammer, Power BI, Stream, email hosting. So that developer account you're getting for free, okay, for 12 months gives you access to all this. All right. So this, I'm just trying to give you context of the amount that you are getting, okay, from getting that developer account. So let's go back. Let's go back here. All right. So and also it has some dummy user account and some dummy hierarchies and some dummy emails and dummy data that allows you to test and mock up things like you're doing maybe actionable messages or you're trying to send some emails and see how the flow works. If you don't have dummy emails, this comes with some dummy emails, and you actually have about 25 user licenses as part of the whole subscription to try stuff on the Microsoft O365 and ecosystem. All right, so let's just get started with this. It's unfortunate that today my chat is not working. Let's see. I am beginning to feel that something is wrong somewhere. Yep, yep. Well, hopefully we should have that resolved as we're moving on. All right, so if you're watching me on Twitter, you can send me a message there. I would have to probably get into Twitch. Let's see. Save it. Lee. T. Uh-oh. Yep. So it's supposed to be a dot. Now that's the only thing I usually do not like about the Bitly stuff. It's crazily case sensitive. So sometimes you have to remember to do the specifics of it. So, yep, we are on. We're good with this. So let's close this. All right. Also, okay. So now I'm just going ahead, and then we're going to click on join now. Some people were really keen about this. So I just want to make sure that they're on the stream and they are following, what we are doing. So let's see if I can. Okay, awesome, 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 awesome. All right, so I have a couple of accounts. Okay, I have a couple of accounts, but for the purpose of today's demo, I'm going to be using my Hotmail account. So this is where you'll be prompted to provide your Microsoft account. In our case, it's a Hotmail account I'm going to use. So I click on Hotmail because I've been using this machine to work several times, so that's already there. Now, don't forget that today's session is in actually two parts. All right. The first part is showing you how to create a developer account, as I'm doing right now, and the second part is using our access now to get introduced to what Power Automate is. And I'm going to show you what Power Automate is, what it does, and we're going to try to create a very simple automated flow just to get things up and running. So, pa, 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 so yeah, I need to provide my password for that. I do that. And then, no, I'm not saving this. And this is actually the very first time that I'm doing this as in on the Edge browser. I haven't done this. So it's just to tell you that we're trying a lot of things out, right? So obviously, because you passed in your username and your password and your Office your Microsoft account, it's pre-filled it for you here, right? So the region, I'm in Ghana, so you can pick any region you are in. Company, let's say it is called the Power Series. The company is called the Power Series. Accept the terms and conditions. If you want to receive more information about developer related stuff, why not? Yes, I will do that, and then I'll click on next. So, so here, complete the following fields to help us personalize your experience. So here, you want to choose what your primary focus is. In this case, application, whether for internal use to be sold on the market, custom solutions for my own customers. And here you can only choose one, all right? So personal project, or, if it's just internal use or custom for my own customers, whatever. I mean, it's just for them to figure out. So I'm just going to pick here personal project for now. And what are my interests? What am I interested in developing? And that's like, what would you be interested in developing? So at this case here, at some point, I want applications to be sold on the market for internal use, custom, personal. Yeah, that doesn't take anything away from you. Now, what are your areas of interest? So for me, okay, and this is me filling this up. I mean, you can fill something else up. I mean, you can pick what works for you. Um, I'm interested in working on Teams, Office, OneDrive, SharePoint, Power Apps, Power BI, Outlook. Nothing on Skype yet. Excel, not really at this point. Yeah, when I say Windows, you can select what that applies to you, okay? But I'm more trying to focus towards what I'm doing for the Power Platform, so I'm picking specifics to that. And then technologies, yes, I want to do actionable messages, adaptive cards, add-ons, connectors, yep, data visualization, the bot framework, graph, identity, SharePoint, tasks, and maybe the Office here. I'm interested in all this. So code language and platform, check all that apply. Yes, Android, Angular, uh, yes, C Sharp, HTML, JavaScript. Yeah, .NET, definitely. Node, Python, REST API, React, Xamarin, definitely. TypeScript, yes. So here again, all right, you need to just make sure that you you filled everything up. We're missing one here, which is this. So what industry do you working? Well, I'm into technology, right? So what is that? Information technology, right here. And then now we're going to go all the way down and click on join. So this will go out and start prepping things for us, setting an account up, generating all those. Yep, and look at this. So welcome to the Office 365 developer program. If you don't have subscription already, we recommend that you begin your membership by setting up your new Office 365 subscription. So I'll close this. Now, as you can see from here, my subscription, okay, is going to expire January 7, 2020, right? Oh, okay, this subscription expired. Oh, okay. Oh, ho, 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 ho. So it looks like because I had tried it before and I changed it. So let's see. Well, I can go to subscription. Now, even though it's expired, let's see. If you don't start using the subscription for development, admin users will lose, blah, blah, blah. Okay, okay, so I'm just going to collapse this, push it up. But in your case, you would see the expiry date of the subscription. You will see the administrator, and as you can see, check this out. So it would give you some info on the administrator. Now you can use this administrative account to change stuff in your E5 subscription. So I'm going to copy this somewhere and remember it so I don't forget. And there's 25 user licenses to use. So I'm just going to go to subscription and try to set it up. So that's the next thing you're going to do. You need to go to subscriptions and set it up. So as you see, this is the user, the admin account that was created. It's going to have the same password uh, that I used. So, well, let's get in there. And as you can see, we'll click on all apps. As you can see from here, I have access to, look at this. I have access to Forms, Power Apps, all right, Power Automate. Where is that? Power BI is somewhere down. I mean, Power BI is going to be somewhere in there. Yes, Power BI is also included. All right, you also get access to Power BI. So don't think it's just, yeah. And I have access to all this whiteboards. Now, Power Virtual Automate is on its own, but this account will allow me, to do that. So now that I have this account, okay, set up, technically I am done, right? I can now go ahead and start creating anything I want to create on top of that. But this is what I want to do. So because this one has this particular account says is expired, it took out all the dummy users I created. As you can see from here, else I could have installed dummy users by clicking here. And actually, I'm going to publish a blog post on how to create the dummy users and how to add the mail and event, dummy mail and event as well. But right now, we have access to our Power Automate, and that is going to take us to the next thing we're going to do for Power Automate. So at this point, you have access to all Office 365, okay, and you can use it to do anything you want. So hey, let's get into it. So I can go ahead and click on Power Automate here, and that will kind of like log in using my account. All right. Now, this is something to take note of. If you are not within the admin account, okay, which is here. Let's see all accounts here. If I just go to the admin, if I click the admin center, this is going to open another tab where I can actually, yep, this is the account I'm going to use. That's the admin account where I can set up extra users. So if you want to test, with user accounts and subscriptions. If I go to user management, let's go to users, active users right here. You can see that this is I'm the only active, I'm the only active user. Okay. So the question is that how do I add another user and connect to it and use the Office subscription? So I can go here and click add user. Okay. And let's say for this one, I'm going to call this user Kofi Mensah. All right. Let's zoom this up so you can see this. And I'm going to bring this to the full screen. Okay. So Kofi Mensah display name is going to be Kofi Mensah. And then now because I already created this, it used a domain that I provided. When you are setting it up, you get to a point where you be asked to provide your domain, okay? And the domain is something you specify, so it can be anything. It could be Power Series, something that is not already picked. It has to be unique, all right? So I would say I want to call this. Let's see this. Yeah, so yeah, we can say his let's say Kofi dot Mensa, okay, at esadrani dot on Microsoft.com. Password auto generate. Require the user to change the password when they're signing. Yes. So I'm going to copy this as well because I'm going to use it to send some information. So let's do this. And then auto generate the password. So I do this. And yep, so as you can see, look at this. So I'm assigning the user Dynamics 365 AI for customer, I'm assigning this. Microsoft Flow 99, a lot of licenses I'm giving a lot of them out. Office, so you see, I'm just giving out. And then so you can see the applications that the person has access to, right? All here. If I want them to have mobile development access also, I can do that. A lot of it. So let's click next. Okay. And the role, well, this person is just going to be a user, no admin access. Okay, so then click next. Okay, so this is auto generated, and because there is, so I'll just go ahead and for the sake of the password, let me just hide this for a moment. Okay. So nothing. All I'm just doing is I just hit that, so you don't kind of like see the password for it. So that's just it. Okay. Because when you click on finish, it's going to show you the password. Okay. And then I can close. And then let's come back to this. So I have created um I have created where's that? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Submit. So now I've created another user, Kofi Mensah. Okay, and that has access to all those accounts. Now, assuming that I want to create let's for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and create another account. Okay, which I would use for emergency purposes. So let's just leave this one for one. Let's just say this is the only account you're going to use. Once you know how to do this, you can create subsequent accounts on your own, and that's fine. All right. So let's go to automate. Now I'm going to deliberately close this so that if you don't have, let's say, how do I access the flow automate Power Automate portal if I'm not in admin center? Okay, it's quite simple. So you can do flow .microsoft.com, and that should take you to the Power Automate um, landing page. Now, because I have already, so as you can see, welcome to Power Automate. My region is, I'll just say Ghana is my region. And then it's okay to send occasional promotion. I'm fine. It's just a test account, so that's it. So I'll click OK. So it's working, and yep, there you go. So this is how. Let me actually, zooming a bit. Yeah. So this is how the UI looks like. Okay. Let's see if I can do the webinar view so you can just see my face somewhere in the corner there. That's fine. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. So on the side, you have your action items, you have your flow. So this is where all the flows you create, would be shown. All right. As of now, we've not created any flows yet. So let's go to home. Let's walk through how the home is now. So the Power Automate, okay, it's a service on application from Microsoft, part of the Power Platform services that allow you to create business workflows. Okay, now it allows you to automate your workflows easily. It used to be called Flow and now officially changed to Power Automate, right? It sits in the middle of your Power Apps, your other orchestration services, okay, Power BI, to create very seamless and easy to create and use what automations. Now, this empowers a lot of activities. Sometimes you create a Power App and you say that, okay, what happens after, I click a button, I want it to go do something else, I want to trigger some business process, someone submit an email or a claims process, and I want to trigger some processes. Power Automate is there to solve the problem for you. So, in today's episode, what I'm going to do, for those of you who have been following me on the Power Automate, and generally most of my meetup, I have my favorite flick button. Yep, I have my favorite flick button. Now, so this button, I love this button because it has a very personal touch to it for me. If you've met me at one of my talks or presentations, I've used it and I've actually told the story behind this. I'll spare you that on today's episode. But one thing I like about the flick button is that it has three states. Okay, it has the press or the click, the double click, and then the long press. All right. Now, um, what happens is that I think, let me show this. So it has a corresponding mobile app. This is Bluetooth powered. So I can set this button up to do series of things depending on when I click it, when I double click it, or when I long press it. So let me show you how the UI looks like. So this is how the Flick UI looks like. Okay, they recently came up with version 2 and has a app that you can connect multiple buttons to. So as you can see, I can either trigger it from here. When I press it, as you can see, it has three states. Okay, so the first state is click, the second state is double click, and the third state is hold. So if I want to put any action for the click, what I need to do is just tap the click here, and you can see all the options I have. I have options to control the phone for communication, to play music, home automation, fun stuff, or tools. All right. So uh, we can go to tools if we want to. All right. So this is even some form of like automation built in on its own. If you go to tools, there's even a custom. Let me show you. There you go. See, there's a custom behavior for flow for Microsoft Flows to trigger a flow. But this you would have to add your account to do that. So we are going to go for a custom flow, all right? To say that anytime we press, we want something custom to happen, okay? So that will be triggered by either using the internet request. So what we're saying is that when we click, we want to initiate an internet request, and then from here we can specify our request. Now, I was just giving you an intro into the platform or into the app for the flick button. So in today's episode, we're going to have a use case where this will serve as an emergency or panic button for, let's say, a loved one, to say that when they click this, when they click the button, all right, you want to send an email, okay, to, let's say, a group of people. That would be the first thing to do, and then also you probably want to send an SMS, okay, you want to send an SMS to the loved one to say that, hey, there's something going on with this person, and maybe for visibility, okay, you'd also want to tweet that there's something happening to this person. All right. So SMS, email, and tweet, three things. We're going to see how we can use Power Automate to create the workflow. When this button is clicked, we want to send all these notifications across this in less than an hour. So let's get into it. So now back to the Flow UI. Right on the dashboard, you have popular services for SharePoint, for Office 365, for OneDrive, Twitter, Dropbox, Dynamics, and the list Facebook, Slack, and it goes on Twilio, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. Now, there is actually even template for you. Let me reduce this a bit. There are actually templates here for you that allows you to pick, all right, that allows you to pick what you want to do. Save an office email attachment to OneDrive, get today's weather when something happens, click a button to email a note, get a daily digest. What do you want to do? Send custom email. There are a lot of it. There are a lot you can do. So there are a lot of dummy things you can try out. So there's also approval requests. As you can see, there's a multi-step flow. When a tweet posted, check the user has more than 100 followers, create a record, add a user. So this is like another cool, like kind of like subscriber list where you when someone tweet at you, they're checking to see if they have more than 100 followers, then create a record for that person and add them to my member list. Kind of like you want to create a follow list, people to follow. If the person doesn't have more than 100 followers, I don't want to follow them, something like that. There is an approve request process. If, let's say, an email comes in or a request comes in, you want to create a flow, adding conditions. So there's a lot of using on-premise data, working securely. There's a lot of templates and stuff for you to pick from. But for the purpose of our show today, as we said, we're going to create an emergency response system. All right, when you click this, we're going to use Power Automate to trigger a lot of things. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go to my flows, or just simply here I can go out and say, create a new, just say new flow, create a new flow from a template or a visual template, automated from blank, instant from blank, schedule, or I can just click here and say what, create here, and automated flow, instant flow, schedule flow, business process flow. Okay, so let me explain this. Now, automated flow is kind of like a flow you create that is triggered by a designated event. It could be something happening somewhere. Now, instant flow is when you want to manually trigger that event. Okay, so in our case, I can say that the instant flow is anytime I press the button, I want this to happen, or anytime an endpoint is hit, I want the subsequent actions to happen. Or you could have a scheduled flow. You want a flow that runs, on a schedule. Let's say every 8 hours, you want to send a reminder to your mom or your dad or someone to take the medications. You can use a scheduled flow. Now, business process flows are ones that are that is triggered or initiated by maybe emails, corporate events, or internal organization events. So in our case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the instant flow. Um, Instant flow in the sense that uh, when an HTTP request comes in, okay, or when a flow button for a mobile application, but we are going to use HTTP. Okay, so when a request comes in, we want the subsequent actions to happen. And I just showed you the UI for Flick button. We're going to use that HTTP request. So I'm going to click this, and then we click on create. So as you can see, so let me walk you through the flow UI. Okay, so at the top here you have your buttons to save. Okay, you have a flow checker to check if there's a problem with the flow. You have a test after you putting a few things. You have a test button here that allows you to test your flow. Um, this side is just showing you subsequent actions you can take, or just like navigations to other parts of your flow. So we want this to be, it could be a simple get or a post. Nothing matters. Now, one cool thing about the flick button is that you can actually send the location as well, which is correlated from, which is got from your mobile device and sent. So if you want to do a post, you just have to specify that in the application, in the flick application. So we're going to do a post. Um, let's see. Yep. Okay, hold on. Let's go back here. Let me change this. Let me change. Let me go to my. Let me go here and do the automated flow instead. No, sorry. I made a mistake here. Is that instant flow? Okay, but it has to be a manual trigger. No, let's use when an HTTP request is received. That's what I was looking for. So when an HTTP request is received, okay, that is when our flow would happen. Yeah. Now, this URL will be generated automatically for you, all right, when you create the flow. So you can go here, show other options here, and specify the method here to be post. That's it here. So if I'm expecting my application, okay, or Flick to send me specific events, all right, let's say because the Flick button has three states. Let me come here so you can see my face as I'm illustrating. Now, because the Flick button has three states, all right, if I want to send all the three states, right, I want to probably send some info in addition to it. All right. If I don't want to send any information as well, that's fine. It's just a matter of sending a post to it. So we're going to see the very basic one where I just send a regular post with nobody. It's just, I'm calling that endpoint and I want something to happen. All right. So let's leave it there. Actually, because we are not sending any data, let's just do a get to this URL. All right. And then later we can do a post. So yeah, I save this. All right. Now, next step. So what happens when this endpoint is hit? Now remember we said that we wanted to do a few things. First of all, we wanted to send an email. Okay. Secondly, we wanted to tweet that something is happening. Okay. And then third, we wanted to send an SMS. Now, the good thing about Flow is that, or Power Automate, is that it comes with over 200 plus connectors. And when I mean connectors, these are in developers lingo, you would say SDKs or APIs. All right. So Flow comes in with about 200 plus connectors that you can easily pick and just set up or configure, and it's part of your Flow process. So the first thing we want to do, let's see. We actually want to create. We want this to happen at the same time. I want this to happen at the same time. So, but first of all, let's send the email. All right. Let's send the email and see how that works. So let's go ahead here and then do send. You can just type send. You can even just type email from here, and all the popular connectors based on email will show. All right. In our case, we can use Office 365, Outlook, We can use Gmail and SMTP or any of the services that is available here. All right. Let's go ahead and use Office 365. So we click this, and what do we want to do? Send email. Now you can see some of them with V2, just version 2, or different versions of the connectors, okay, or the actions. So let's use send email. Yep, there we go. And now it will try to sign in, or it will try to generate a connector that is going to use to send. All right. And because we've already logged in as an admin, it's going to use ours. So who do we want to send it to? Now, remember we created an account for Kofi Mensah? Well, there you go. Because Kofi Mensah is part of our tenant, all right? When I start typing his name, it pulls up from, the users list or the exchange for Kofi Mensah, all right? So what's the subject? We can say that uh, Samuel needs your help ASAP on the Power Series show. There you go. All right. And then in here, let's say, let's just do this. And then I can coming into here and see. So this can take HTML. So you can model it with any HTML, any valid HTML, and it will go. So I can say, hey, um, Samuel needs your help right away on the Power Series show. All right. So let's say right away. Let me actually make right away bold. Okay. So let's say this is all we're sending. All right. Um, we don't have any dynamic content yet. If we did, we could, actually, if the preceding action had any content, we could check that out. So that's it for now. So let's build upon it one after the other. Okay. So I can save this. All right. And now another thing I can do is let me open new private mode. Okay. And then let's do Outlook. Now I'm doing this so that I can log in as Kofi Mensah, so we can see how do you call it? So we can see the email come through. So let's sign in here, and then we will use our email. There you go, Kofi Mensah at, yep, next. It would ask for the password. And because I was specific that when I log in the first time, the password should be changed, it will probably prompt me to change the password for Kofi Mensah. So, yep, I was right. So, let's see. Changing the password. And it might just log me back out. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yep. So at this point, what we have is we just have the very basic of our first flow, okay, or our first automate to say that anytime that URL is hit, okay, anytime that URL is hit, we want an email to be sent to Kofi Mensah. All right. So let's move this here. That's the first one. Okay. So let's get here. Okay. Whilst we are waiting for his to load. Okay, there you go. Um, Yeah, we need to change the time zone. We are here in, yep, and then save. I mean, because it's the first time I'm setting up his account, so that's why. There we go. So Kofi Mensah here is set up. As you can see, inbox, there's nothing in here for Kofi Mensah. So let me just minimize this. Now, let's use the flow checker to run this. There are no errors. Good. There are no warnings. Now, let's use a test. So we click test here, and I'll say I'll perform the what? Trigger action myself. So save and test. And this is going to trigger the flow manually. And you should see a check. Now make sure you always save your flow. So this is run, the flow is running. So you see that you should see a green tick at the top right of each of the steps. Okay, when it runs. So in the background, this is running. Okay. So gradually, and then we can actually go. So once it's running, we can now go and check. Okay, if it's done, we'll see the URL would update accordingly, and then hopefully Kofi Mensah should get an email. So let me open Kofi Mensah's email. Yeah, just go to email for now. Nothing in here. We are all caught up. Yes, because we are waiting for our flow to complete. Yep. So whilst I'm waiting for the flow to complete, once I saved the flow with a second step, what happened was that Power Automate went ahead to generate a URL for me for the how do you call it, for the HTTP request. Now that is going to be a very 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 long request, all right, and sometimes too long to type. So I would always go ahead and have my bit.ly so that I can shorten that. All right, I can shorten that when I'm configuring it in the app for a mobile application. Yeah, so let's just wait for this. This is taking quite some time, which doesn't seem normal. So let me go back here. We'll lose the changes. Yeah, I've changed it, so I've saved it, so I'm fine. Now let's look at all runs. Okay, so let's click here, edit flow. Now, all rounds, so here, all rounds would have showed me all the times the flow was executed. Now, I was saying earlier on that because I've added a step to send an email, when I click here, now you see that it generates the email for me. Now, this is a pretty long, very, 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 if we bring this here, check this out. Like this is crazily long. All right. So setting your app up with this URL is just outrageous. So what I intend to do is with this, coming to my bit.ly since I already have that set up, and then I'll paste this here, and I'll say this is Power Series demo help. This is much more. I'll say this is the flow. So I'll say Power Series flow. All right. Oh, let's just do this. Let's say Power Series flow. Let's call it this way. Yeah. And hopefully no one has taken that. Okay, that has been taken. So let's add a D for demo and put the flow there. Yeah, that works. So now I can copy this and save. So now instead of typing this very long thing, this very long URL is the same as just this short bit.ly. Okay, I want to test this again. I'm of the view that something went wrong there somewhere. So, because I want to test this and make sure that at least it ran once before I go ahead to set it up on the Flick mobile application, which I'll show you how to do in a bit.